Hello, so welcome to Accessibility Foundations. You can click on the CC icon in the video link um, you to start closed captions in each video, and you may need to watch the video in YouTube to enable closed captions. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is first voice representation. So a guiding principle of the Nova Scotia Accessibility Directorate's work and ours is nothing about us without us. So this means people who identify as deaf, neurodivergent, and or with a disability will be involved in the development and implementation of laws, standards, and all training and awareness work. And then on the screen, there's an image of an outline of a wheelchair in a black circle, and then above that is in white lettering says, "Nothing about us without us." Okay, so an important note on language. Not all people with accessibility needs identify as having a disability. So identity is complex, and it's up to each person to define themselves in their own terms and in a way that they are comfortable with. So language is dynamic, it changes over time, and we strive to use inclusive, accessible, and respectful language throughout this presentation. The language used is rooted in good intentions to treat people with dignity and respect. And we are learning and are open to feedback on our use of language so we can do better. On the slide, we have three images. So the first image on the left, or from left to right, is a man using American Sign Language with a friend at a cafe, and he identifies as deaf. The second image is of a person walking on the beach. They have autism and identify as neurodivergent. And the third image is of a woman reading a book in Braille with her service dog at her feet, and she identifies as blind. Okay, so the learning objectives by the end of this self-paced training on accessibility foundations, hopefully participants will be able to define disability, types of disabilities, accessibility, and the prevalence of disability in Nova Scotia. Explain the importance of the Nova Scotia Accessibility Act, provide examples of barriers and ableism and their impacts on persons with disabilities, and outline practices to support persons with disabilities to meaningfully participate in community work and play. In addition, we also hope that you feel more motivated and confident to be accessibility confident employers. And we recognize the importance of reflection to fully realize this learning. And so we invite you to reflect on your home, work, and community experience as you answer questions. So your tasks. We invite you to step into the learning zone during this training. So this means reflecting on your work, asking questions, making relevant connections to how you're already engaging with persons with disabilities, what you're learning, and identifying gaps and opportunities to improve. What parts are making sense to you, and how do you feel during this learning and unlearning? And what are your next steps for learning and action? At multiple points through this training, you'll be asked to share your reflections in the discussion forum and to comment on at least one other person's reflections. And so this is a required part of the training to foster engagement and connection. And on the screen, there is an image of a paper, like a yellow paper background with a green heart in the center. Okay, and so here are the modules. So the first one is Introduction, Accessibility Foundations. Second is Understanding Disabilities. The third is the importance of accessibility. The fourth is Barriers to Accessibility. The fifth is Wise Practices to Prevent Barriers. And the sixth is Wrap Up and Learn More. All right, thank you very much. And on the screen, we have a picture of a hand holding a lens, looking at a blurred landscape with mountains and a lake.